Good morning. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. My professors, instructors, good day. And my fellow classmates, good day also. Today is the 17th of May, 2026. And we are tasked to present our case study on fiscal issues in local government. My name is Muhammad Salih Hassan, and this is my case study title presentation entitled Intergovernmental Fiscal Management and Strategic Planning for Enhancing Water Security, Flood Control, and Energy Sustainability through a multi-purpose dam project in Pasunangka Watershed, Zamboanga City. So, subtitle overview. You know, every civilization is based on water, and water is very much essential to life. Zamboanga City is dealing with a lack of drinkable water, particularly during the hot season, heavy flooding during the rainy season, and energy shortages brought by the city's ever expanding population and industrial activity. In order to improve long-term security, long-term water security, flood mitigation, renewable energy generation, environmental sustainability, and regional economic resilience in Zamboanga City. This case study looks at how intergovernmental fiscal management, strategic planning, and multi-sector collaboration can support the development of a proposed multi-purpose dam project within the Pasunangka watershed. The case emphasizes how and national government agencies, local government units, public-private partnerships, environmental stakeholders, and local communities can finance and carry out strategic infrastructure projects that address future development needs, rising urban demand, and climate-related risks. As an overview, this is Zamboanga City, where it is a progressive city. Yeah, historically a maritime city, an economic hub of Western Mindanao with diverse people and culture and a growing economy and population. The economic performance of this city, the GDP of 2024 was 151.3 billion with an economic growth of 4.9%. It is a very strong city. Yeah, it fares well with even those with other major cities. The main product the main product of Zamboanga is sardines. And aside from that, they also have tuna, seaweed, marine products, rubber and coconut products, rice and corn crops, export-oriented fishery products. The banks in the city account for around 60 banks, which are largely universal and commercial banks, rural and cooperative banks, Islamic banking institutions. Majority of the major banks are present in this city, including its own Banco Central. So the population growth rate of this city is also relatively high, around 3% annually, with a death of around 7 people for every 1,000 people in a population. For the moment, there is 1 million residents in Zamboanga City. So looking back, it uh, it is a bustling economy, but the water and the electricity cannot meet up with the demands. So indeed, there is a water crisis and electricity crisis in Zamboanga City. The water crisis in Zamboanga City, as you can see from the video presentation, uh, there is water rationing and interrupted supply, declining water levels in Pasonangka watershed, weak water pressures in many barangays, high demand due to population growth, dependence on limited water resources. The electricity crisis, yes, indeed, we have it. Zamboanga City experiences recurrent electricity instability, rotational brownouts and sudden power interruptions, voltage instability, and aging electrical infrastructure. Insufficient generation versus increasing demand affects businesses, schools, hospitals, households, and investments. There is frequent power interruptions that reduce productivity and impact education, health services, and the economic growth. And this is a frequent scene within Zamboanga City where we have people lining up for water because there isn't any, especially during the summer season. So this is the Pasonangka Zamboanga City watershed. By a brief overview of this is that the Zamboanga City Water District was created in the 1980s. However, little was made in order to increase its capacity. Increase its capacity. You know, in the 1980s, there was just around like 400,000 Zamboanga City residents. But now in 2026, the population has bloomed into almost like more than a million, from 400,000 to 1.2 million inhabitants within the city. So there is a great water deficit in this city, and according to the study, there is around 28 thousand cubic meters per day short of water, especially during the peak hours. So these gaps are still not met by the national government and the local government. Summary of key points. Zamboanga City's recurrent water shortages and growing energy needs are all intended to be addressed by the proposed multi-purpose dam. The coordinated financial management between national agencies, local governments, and development partners is necessary for the project. Public service delivery, economic growth, disaster resilience, environmental protection are all strengthened by strategic investment in water infrastructure. The dam could offer the following: potable water supply, mechanisms for controlling floods, hydroelectric power that is renewable, support for irrigation, and chances for watershed conservation. This study aims to explore financing, environmental issues, displacement, the interagency coordination, and long-term sustainability are some of the main obstacles. This project necessitates strong emphasis on community involvement, sustainable budgeting, and shared governance. Only one solution: create a dam, and you will hit all all of the other problems in Zamboanga City. Detailed subject background. Again, let me reiterate that Zamboanga City is one of the major urban centers in Mindanao and even in the Philippines, and serves as an important economic, commercial, and transportation hub in western Mindanao. Rapid urbanization, population growth, industrial expansion, and climate variability have increased pressure on the city's water resources and public infrastructure systems. The Paso Nangka watershed is an underutilized, critical environmental and hydrological resource that supplies a large portion of the city's fresh water. However, seasonal droughts, watershed degradation, flooding during heavy rainfall, and increasing water consumption have exposed vulnerabilities in the existing water supply system. Detailed subject background. Once again, the project of the multi-purpose dam project emerges as a strategic infrastructure initiative intended to support sustainable water supply management, urban flood control, renewable energy production, agricultural irrigation, climate adaptation, and disaster resilience. The project requires substantial fiscal investment and intergovernmental coordination among the local government units, national government agencies, water utilities, environmental organizations, infrastructure and energy sectors, and the community stakeholders. Challenges and goals will always be primarily financial constraints because such a large scale dam infrastructure project requires substantial capital investment. You need it also for feasibility studies, the engineering design, the land acquisition, environmental mitigation, construction, and maintenance. Among the challenges and goals is environmental protection. The watershed is an environmentally sensitive area that requires biodiversity conservation, reforestation efforts, sustainable watershed management, environmental impact mitigation, intergovernmental coordination. Different agencies may have overlapping mandates, resulting in bureaucratic delays, budgetary conflicts, policy inconsistencies, slow implementation processes. Climate change risks, extreme weather conditions increase flood risk, drought vulnerability, water scarcity, and infrastructure stress. Community and social concerns. Potential concerns include land use conflict, community displacement, indigenous and local stakeholder consultation, and there should always be public trust and transparency. Project goals. The project seeks to enhance long-term water security, reduce flood risk in vulnerable communities, generate renewable hydroelectric energy, improve climate resilience, support agricultural and industrial growth, strengthen environmental sustainability, improve intergovernmental fiscal coordination, promote sustainable urban development. So what do we want to achieve? We already said it. We already said it from before. If effectively implemented, this project may achieve water security improvements, increase reservoir storage capacity, stable potable water supply, reduce seasonal water shortages. Yeah, flood mitigation, controlled water release systems, reduce urban flooding, improve disaster preparedness, renewable energy production, potential hydroelectric power generation, reduce dependence on fossil fuels, enhance regional energy sustainability, economic benefits, infrastructure driven employment, increase investor confidence, agricultural productivity improvements, long term economic growth. The government will also improve because through this project, they will have better interagency collaboration. They will have improved physical accountability. It's like a muscle that needs to be exercised. Enhanced public infrastructure planning. So, what kind of what kind what do you want to see? Na? This proposed multi-purpose dam project, it represents a long-term investment in the future stability of Zamboanga City. Through effective fiscal management and intergovernmental cooperation, the project can strengthen water security, reduce disaster risk, and support sustainable development for the future generations. Together, this will not just be a dream, but a reality. This is the legacy that we should always aspire, and this is our shared destiny as our people. Multi-purpose dam is for the water, power, and prosperity. Water security ensures a reliable, sustainable water supply for communities and industries. Flood control reduces flood risk by regulating the river flow and protecting lives and properties. Hydroelectric power generates clean, renewable energy to power homes, businesses, and industries. Impact and future research. Potential long-term impact. The project may significantly contribute to urban resilience and sustainability, improve public utility services, reduce disaster-related economic losses, environmental conservation, energy diversification, stronger regional economic development. The project can also serve as a model for integrated fiscal management and strategic infrastructure planning among developing urban centers in the Philippines. Future research areas, environmental impact assessment, cost benefit analysis of the dam construction, public service partnerships, financing models, climate adaptation strategies, social acceptability, uh, and stakeholder engagement, renewable energy integration, long-term watershed sustainability monitoring. Suggested actions or policy recommendations to conduct comprehensive feasibility studies to strengthen intergovernmental coordination, promote community participation, implement environmental protection programs, strengthen intergovernmental coordination, joint fiscal management committees, for all those individual, like local and national, they can all convene and to have joint fiscal management committees, transparent budgeting systems, multi-agency implementation frameworks, promote community participation, transparency is very important. Public consultations, stakeholder representation, develop sustainable financing strategies, explore national government funding, international development grants like JICA, USAID, and so on, public-private partnerships with the local publicly listed companies, for example, like San Miguel, Ayala Corporation. They can also help climate resilience funding, implement environmental protection programs, prioritize reforestation, watershed conservation, biodiversity, monitoring sustainable land management. This is the cited sources. Renewable Energy Act of 2008. It's about the Republic Act 9513 promotes incentives in the development of hydropower, including run-over river projects. Imagine there are incentives in the development of hydropower, but there is a law about it, but nobody seems to push for this agenda. Mini Hydroelectric Power Incentive Act, the Republic Act 7156, specifically outlines rules for building operating mini hydro plants of about 101 megawatts, offering tax incentives and setting guidelines for developers' obligations. The Water Code of the Philippines, PD 10067, requires a formal water permit from the NWRB for any appropriation of diversion of the water. Environmental impact statement system. PD 1586 mandates an environmental compliance certificate before the construction, requiring comprehensive impact studies. There are rules and regulations concerning the construction and operation of mini hydroelectric and even big power plants. The Republic Act 11361, Anti-Obstruction of Power Lines, ensures the protection of the power line corridor from vegetation and other hazards. Among the things that I have found is in this case analysis is that there is a master plan from 2021 from the Zamboanga City Water District. It was labeled as in partnership with USAID. It was labeled as the final water security master plan for Zamboanga City. However, it's not really final because they did not implement it. Cited sources, government institutional references to consult, coordinating agencies involved, the local government and the national government. So again, this is the workflow plan, because you need to have a timetable, an effective an effective plan should be systematic, manageable, attainable, and realistic and time bounded. But our local government doesn't seem to do it. So multi-purpose dam project in Zamboanga City, Philippines, integrated workflow plan for fiscal management, strategic planning, and intergovernmental coordination. This is just like the what you call this conceptual workflow plan. So the priority order should always be about the preliminary assessment and policy formulation. There should be an intergovernmental steering committee. All of those branches of government should all be sitting together in one place. Yeah. Lead agencies, Zamboanga City Government, DPWH, NEDA, DNR, NIA, and DOE. Feasibility technical studies, hydrological and geologic studies, environmental and social impact assessment, cost benefit and disaster risk analysis, legal policy review like water rights, environmental laws, in IDP's rights, land acquisition, private public partnership regulations, yeah, fiscal management and resource mobilization. The local government should have the funds, with national government support, international financing, the PPP, fiscal hello, the fiscal fiscal management, financial governance, financial governance mechanisms, independent audit committee, procurement monitoring team, citizen transparency portal, quarterly fiscal reporting. Always transparency is very important. If you're transparent, there will be trust. Intergovernmental coordination. There should be continuous intergovernmental coordination, coordinated framework, city government, local implementation, regional government, regional integration, national government, funding and approval, international partners, technical and financial assistance. The mechanisms, multi-agency technical working group, community consultation from the barangays, independent IPs, uh, farmers group, business sector, unified information management system, monitor budget, uh, progress, risk, and data. The project implementation, there should be adequate time frame for land acquisition and resettlement, infrastructure construction, environmental protection measures. Number 5, operations, monitoring, and sustainability long term. Operational governance. This is when we are already operating. Yeah, the proposed dam management authority, it should be composed of the city government representatives, national government, utility providers, and environmental specialists. Monitoring indicators should be water supply, reservoir and distribution, flood control, reduction in flood incidents. This is the indicators that we are, if for example, it's already running fiscal management, budget efficiency, and audit compliance to ensure that there are no corruption involved, environment, forest cover, and biodiversity health. Strategic planning model would include problem identification, policy formulation, feasibility study, fiscal planning, and intergovernmental coordination, funding mobilization, construction and implementation, operations monitoring, sustainability expansion. Expected long-term outcomes: social, stable water supply, reduce food displacement, improve public safety. Improve public safety. Like I said before, when once we have adequate water and electricity, then the opportunities will also come. And when the opportunities will come, prosperity is the effect. And when there is no enough sustainable water and energy, the opportunities will be low and the crime rate will also increase. Economic, increase local investment, agricultural expansion, employment generation. Energy, supplemental renewable electricity, reduce power instability. For the governance, stronger intergovernmental collaboration, fiscal accountability, better disaster preparedness, key risk and mitigation strategies, budget shortages, mitigation, multi-source financing. Not just one. Political transition mitigation is the institutional agreements. Environmental opposition mitigation, transparent and EIA and consultations. Construction delays mitigation, independent project monitoring. Corruption risk mitigation, external auditing systems. You know, it's very important that the multi-purpose dam project would be a reality. It's already, there's so much delay already regarding the dam project. The Zamboanga City, you know, up to this moment in time, is dealing with problems when it comes to getting enough electricity and managing the flood. Yeah, and much of the investors and businesses will either die from the lack of water and electricity, uh, including the local people who are living there will also probably have domestic migration. They will move to other cities that have better water supply and electricity. So it will be, you know, a negative downside for the city of Zamboanga. So it's best, you know, to create resiliency just by creating a dam. So here suggested appendices. Yeah, I have labeled it from appendix A to G regarding these certain things, and I'm fortunate to have found the final water security master plan for Zamboanga City. Yeah, but the final water security master plan was made in 2021 and coordinated with the USAID, but it's just currently shelved with no addressing of the power shortage. Hybrid plan needs to be implemented and updated in order to assess both the water shortage and electricity deficit. Thank you very much for listening. I would like to leave a short adage from Singapore's Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew, former Prime Minister. We are what we are because we can stand for ourselves. If we can't, we've had it. We have lost. So we need to stand. Thank you very much.